I want to show some clips from Rand Paul's Senate floor speech from yesterday, and I want to give some context. Now, at the end, he does say, we need to reopen the economy differently in different states, different cities, but most of his speech is, we got to reopen, we got to reopen, we got to reopen. And he's also saying that we shouldn't be doing any more of these stimulus checks. We shouldn't have done the one we did before. And he's also saying people are going to die anyway, so we might as well open the economy. Really dangerous stuff. Let him talk a little bit, and then we'll discuss it.
No amount of money, not all the money in China, will save us from ourselves. Our only hope of rescuing this great country is to reopen the economy. If you print up billions of dollars and give it to people, they are unlikely to spend it until you end the quarantine. The good news, though, is that the scientific community finally has facts instead of conjecture. The models that used 3.4% mortality were fortunately very wrong.
Now, he's done a couple things here already. He's stated that people are not going to spend money unless you open up the economy. That's not true. Anybody who's been out to the grocery store knows that people are buying necessities. They're just not buying the kinds of materialistic stuff that usually runs our economy. Before we move on, there's another thing that he mentioned there. He said that the scientific community now has facts instead of conjecture. We were already working on the best data we had, and this sort of idea that the scientific community is not operating in facts is a sort of dangerous thing that leads to these sorts of people out here saying the media is the virus, these kinds of people who are doubting that this honk if you question the coronavirus. I mean, these people are out here gathering, breaking protocol, because these are all conservatives. They're all people who fall in line with this sort of rhetoric, and it's very, very dangerous. Now, let him talk a little bit more here, because there's more I want to discuss on this.
Bailout dollars will stimulate an economy that is being strangled by quarantine. It is not a lack of money that plagues us, but a lack of commerce.
It's not a lack of money that plagues us. It's a lack of commerce. Again, the real virus is not the virus, right? The plague is a lack of commerce.
This economic calamity only resolves when we begin to reopen the economy. Opening the economy will require Americans to rise above partisanship, to understand that deaths from infectious disease will continue, but that we cannot indefinitely quarantine.
Now, what he's saying is technically true. Yeah, people are going to die from infectious disease anyway, and no, we can't be quarantined forever. But he's building this argument like, hey, people are going to die anyway, might as well reopen. And that's what people hear, even though if you really follow what Rand Paul is saying, at the end he does say it's going to be different from one state to the other, it's going to be different from one city to the other, but we already have that criteria laid out by the White House. So when people like Rand Paul go up and they're arguing for reopen the economy, they're arguing for something less strict than what the White House has already laid out. And the White House is using our best data that we have from the CDC, from the World Health Organization, and people like Rand Paul are not the CDC, they're not the World Health Organization, they don't have all the data. It's not his specialty. Now, Rand Paul does know that what he's saying is misleading here. Now, what he said after, if you back it up just a second here, what he said was the death rate was thought to be 3% or so, and now that's not the case. That's because of the social distancing. That's because things are being effective. Now, one of the most important things to know, and Rand Paul knows this, again, because he's a medical doctor, he actually volunteered at his own hospital nearby, knowing that he could be helpful once he had already recovered from the coronavirus himself. Because the overload in the system is really where the danger is. You look at Italy, they were severely overloaded. So even though they had 187,000 cases, their death toll was 25,000 so far. Now for the USA, our caseload is 820,000 and 45,000 deaths, almost 46,000. So we have a huge death toll. The death rate per person who's gotten coronavirus is much less. It's about 1/3 of what it was for Italy, because it was so much more dangerous in Italy because they were so overwhelmed. They're running out of ventilators. That's the problem, is overwhelming the system for care. That's the whole danger here. So for him to be saying reopen, reopen, and to be fueling these kinds of people who are out here trying to reopen the economy, and some of them are finding it also another way to just be homophobic, but these people here, every business is essential. Honk if you question the coronavirus, give me liberty or give me COVID-19. That doesn't even make sense. If you go out and you liberate yourself and you communicate with all these people, yeah, you're going to get COVID-19. You're going to get both of those things. These people, pandemic, of course, they're blaming the pandemic on Democrats somehow. This is it's ridiculous. And so Rand Paul is pushing this agenda. Donald Trump saying liberate Michigan, liberate Virginia, liberate Minnesota. He's pushing the agenda. And here is, I want to pull up this FEE article. Sweden's top epidemiologists, COVID-19 infections flattening under policy of individual responsibility. This headline is a libertarian wet dream. The idea that just a little bit of individual responsibility and the whole thing will blow over. That's really not going to work in a country that has 320 million people and is the epicenter of the disease. Look at this. But these people want to bring up Sweden and say, hey, look, Sweden's economy is doing fine, and they're just giving social distancing. You guys can read this yourself. They say social distancing on people's own terms is all it's going to take. They have 10 million people in their country. We have 320 million people. Okay? These people can't be trusted. Check out this one here. Here's a good one for a little laugh.
What happened to your voice?
2 McChickens.
2 McChickens.
Maybe 3.
Okay, you keep going up.
I have the coronavirus, that's why I don't have a voice. So clean the mic after this or you will get it.
So a pretty comical take on this whole thing, but you see, look at his face when he realizes that she's got COVID-19 and he's been talking with her. It's like he's like, dude, really? You're out here? Well, he's out there too. All these people are out there, and none of them are being cautious. We can't be like Sweden. We can't have people like Rand Paul saying reopen, 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 because it's fueling their base to just go out there and gather in large groups. It's not safe, and it's gonna possibly hurt more people than just themselves. Although, let me show you this one here. Here's a guy, John W. McDaniel. If what I'm hearing is true, that DeWine has ordered all bars and restaurants to be closed, I say BS. He doesn't have the authority. If you're paranoid about getting sick, just don't go out. It shouldn't keep those of us from living our lives. The madness has to stop. This is no joke. You can look this up. I fact-checked this myself. Ohio officials have confirmed Thursday that John W. McDaniel, 60, Marion, died at 1:34 p.m. on Wednesday, April 15th at Riverside Methodist Hospital in Columbus. He was receiving treatment for COVID-19 virus at Riverside when he passed away. So these people are going out there against orders. They are dying, and they're potentially spreading it to other people who have to be out, because there are these healthcare workers, the people who are treating him, they're essential workers. They don't have a choice to actually be out there. You know, these are people who have to be doing their work, and people like John McDaniel who are putting them in danger. All these people are putting these essential workers in danger. It's not right. It's not safe. And people saying reopen, reopen, reopen are causing danger to others. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. I've gotten a lot of fiery disagreements in my last couple videos, but I welcome it all. But hey, if you have some other comments, maybe some more positive ones, throw those in there too. All right, guys. Hope to see you in the next video.